Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're at Seaton Carew, a stretch of coast that's woven into daily life here in Hartlepool. It's one of those places that feels open and familiar. A simple seaside town with big skies, wide beaches and that classic North Sea charm. Whether you're here for a quiet walk, a breath of fresh air after work, or just to sit and watch the waves roll in, Seaton Carew has that steady unhurried rhythm that reminds you to slow down a little. In this video, we'll take a gentle wander along the promenade, the dunes and the beachfront, exploring the nice parts, the peaceful corners, and as always the honest bits too, including areas where antisocial behaviour sometimes creeps in. Seaton Carew is beautiful, but it's real, and that's what gives it its character. The promenade is probably the best known part of Seaton Carew, a long open walkway that feels perfect for a slow coastal stroll. No matter the season, the stretch has its own charm. In summer it's bright and lively, with families heading to the beach and the sound of the arcade machines drifting out. But in winter everything quietens down, leaving the promenade feeling spacious and almost meditative. Just you, the sea air and the sound of footsteps on the pavement. There's a bit of everything here: cafes, fish and chip shops, the traditional seafront amusements, and a handful of independent places that keep the area feeling personal and local. But the highlight is simply the space. Walking here is easy, open and relaxing. A straight line beside the water where you can let your mind clear. The beach at Seaton Carew is huge. When the tide is out it feels almost endless. A pale stretch of sand that reaches all the way down to the pier in one direction and towards Northgate and the nature reserves in the other. There's something calming about looking over a flat, uninterrupted horizon. It's the kind of view that doesn't demand anything from you. It just sits there, gentle and steady, no matter what kind of day you had. You'll often see dog walkers, runners, and people who simply enjoying the chance to be outdoors. Even on colder days, the Southgate wind brings a freshness that makes this place feel alive and honest. The quieter part of Seaton Carew sits behind the beach, the sand dunes. These natural mounds stretch along the coastline and offer a slightly more sheltered walk, especially when the breeze is coming off the sea and starts to pick up. The dunes aren't manicured or polished, they're natural, a wild bit that's full of raw coastal beauty. The grasses move with the wind, the pathways shift slightly over time, and there's a peacefulness here you don't always expect to see so close to a town. It's one of the best spots if you want views of the water, but with a softer atmosphere, the kind of place where you can walk slowly, listen to the wind through the grass, and feel the world away from everything. As you move further south, Seaton Carew tends to blend with nature. The closer you get to Northgate, the more the coastline opens up into a mixture of dunes, wildlife and quiet walking routes. This is a favourite area for bird watching, especially during the migration season, and it's also where you really feel the contrast of nature and industry. On one side, open marshes and wildlife. On the other, the distant outline of former steelworks, cranes, chimneys, creating a surprisingly atmospheric skyline. It's a reminder that this whole coastline from Hartlepool down to the Tees has always been shaped by sea industry and time. The beauty is subtle, a mixture of natural and industrial, and somehow this seems to work. Seaton Carew has been a seaside destination for centuries. In the Victorian era, people came here for fresh air, saltwater bathing, and the long open beaches that were considered good for health and well-being. A few traces of that history are still visible if you look closely. Older terraces, decorative railings, and touches of the classic seafront architecture that adds character to the front. It isn't a polished resort, and that's part of its charm. It's lived in, it's real. It still carries that sense of a traditional northern seaside town that exists for locals first and visitors second. Like many coastal towns, Seaton Carew has its difficult patches too, and it's fair to show them. Some areas can feel worn, especially around the back streets and the quieter corners behind the front. Occasional antisocial behaviour does crop up, small groups hanging around, the odd patch of graffiti, and places where you can tell a few late night gatherings have happened. These aren't defining features of Seaton Carew, but they're part of the lived reality. They contrast with the calmer, pretty areas you've seen so far. The same goes for abandoned or damaged objects you sometimes come across, and depending on one you visit, you might find burnt out debris, an indication of a bit of trouble from the night before. These moments don't ruin the place, but they do remind you that seaside towns can be a mix of peaceful beauty and rough edges, and honestly, that blend gives Seaton Carew its grounded, down-to-earth feel. But alongside the rough spots there's been investment and improvement too. Some parts of the promenade are being refreshed, new seating has been added, and the general layout of the seafront feels more looked after than it did a few years ago. Even small upgrades make a difference. Fresh paint and clean paths, maintained flower beds, and you can see that Seaton Carew is still valued as a place where families, locals and business spend time. These improvements help balance out the rough patches and show the town moving in a positive direction one step at a time. Seaton Carew sunsets are some of the quietest moments you can experience here. The light hits the water just right, the horizon glows, and the whole coastline seems to soften. Evenings are gentle, you'll see couples sitting on benches, dog walkers finishing the last stroll of the day, and the beach gradually emptying as the tide rolls in. It's peaceful, simple and comforting, exactly what you want from a seaside walk. If you follow the coastline north, Seaton Carew eventually leads to Hartlepool Marina. It's a lovely transition from wide open beaches to the boats, cafes and waterfront atmosphere of the marina itself. This link between the two areas makes Seaton Carew feel like part of a bigger coastal route. It's easy to walk or cycle between them, and the changing scenery keeps things interesting. 1 minute you're looking at open sand, the next minute you're surrounded by yachts and harbour reflections. Seaton Carew is one of those places that doesn't need to impress you. It just exists, quietly, steadily, honestly. It's beautiful in its own understated way. The mix of golden sands, open skies, gentle waves, and the familiar seafront life. It has its rough edges, its worn corners, and moments of antisocial behaviour, but these are just a small part of the bigger picture. The picture that's mostly calm, spacious, and full of simple coastal character. If you're a local, you probably already know what it means to walk here after a long shift, letting the sea air clear your head. And if you're visiting for the first time, you'll find the coastline easy to enjoy, a town that's down to earth, and a beach that always gives you space to breathe. Thanks for joining me on this gentle wander through Seaton Carew. If you've enjoyed this coastal walk, feel free to explore more of my reviews and scenic walkthroughs across the northeast and beyond. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Once again, thank you for watching. Please like and share and consider subscribing. It will help the channel grow. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you again. Please enjoy the remaining footage of Seaton Carew.